And so from Penrith Park, it's a warm welcome to the clash of Manly and Penrith. In a match where the visitors will start a warm favourite, Panther supporters are quietly confident of victory following good early season form, with wins over Cronulla and North Sydney at home and a narrow loss away to Eastern Suburbs at the Sports Ground. Manly, they come to Penrith with a loss last weekend to Eastern Suburbs, where even though they played well in the first half, the lack of possession from the scrums eventually took its toll. The Eagles, prior to their loss of last Sunday, recorded wins over Wests and Balmain and will by far present the biggest problem the Panthers have encountered this year. So then it's the Panthers versus the Sea Eagles from here at Penrith Park. With the teams ready to take the field, here's my co-commentator, John Coots.
There are the two teams. Graham Eadie, fullback for Manly, Mooney and Booth on the wings, Gartner and Dorothy in the centres, Haas, Thompson and Gibbs, Paul Vaughton in the lock position. Randall has moved into the second row. He's with Jeff Gerard, Mark Broadhurst and Ray Brown, the hooker, and Mark Willoughby comes into the side in the front row. Few changes in the Penrith lineup. Kevin Dan comes in as fullback. He'll be in number 14. Levy moves into the centres with Ken Hay, Pobji and McMahon on the wings. Fenton Foster in the halves. Steve Martin's the lock. Lou Zavanovic, Lou Platts in the second rows. In the front row, Tim Sheens, Darryl Broman and Royce Simmons, the hooker.
And the referee for today's match is Martin Weeks, I should say. And joining us for the co-commentary today, welcome back after 12 months, the editor of Rugby League Week in New South Wales, Peter Peters.
G'day, Ray. Pleasure to be here.
Kevin Dan, first man to get a touch for Penrith, and he's tackled on the 22 by Vaughton and Ray Brown. Number 2 for the Panthers is Kevin Pobji. And now Levy. Knocked down by Manly. And Weeks has given the penalty to Penrith, with Gartner being offside. Well, Manly, they were brilliant in the first half last Sunday against Eastern Suburbs. They lost the scrums, though, by an alarming rate. And East came barnstorming home to victory. It was Penrith's penalty going down, finding touch 9 metres into Manly territory. I know, Peter Peters, that you've been rather critical of the retention of Ray Brown in this Manly side.
Yes, I have, Ray. He's got 35% of success rate in scrums this year. That's the worst of the 12 hookers in the league. Max Krilich won the second half scrums in reserve grade, 7-1, and Brown will know that, and there's a lot of pressure on both him and Ray Ritchie.
Steve Martin looking good, and that's Lou Platts up to the 22 line. Penrith are on their way with Hicks going in to score, with Fenton's going in to score. Warren Fenton scoring a try for Penrith in the opening 90 seconds of play. Sensational piece of work by little Steve Martin. You'll see it on the head-on shot in particular. That's the man that made the bust, and there's the big fellow from Queensland and Parramatta striding away.
Platts to Fenton, and what a good try to Penrith to start the game off.
Now then, Penrith lead 3-0, conversion to come. Head on, John Coots, and who did you credit the main responsibility for this try to? This man or Platts?
Well, I like Platts the way he drew the defence. He got a beautiful pass away, just blocked, and got a perfect pass. Here it comes now. And then it was just a sprint for the line. So what a smashing opener for Penrith.
The kick by Mark Levy. It's just in. Yes, it's 5-0. The restart now. Manly running left to right, and again Pobji brings it out to the 22 line. Tackler Mark Willoughby, he's playing in 17. Penalty to Penrith inside the 5 against the Eagles.
Attention please, the owner of vehicle number 8ZD798, a brown Ford Escort, blocking the entrance in the Station Street side of the ground.
That's a good kick by McMahon, finding it 12 metres out from the Manly 22. Not that many years ago that Manly came up here and recorded a cricket score against the Panthers. But here they are today in the opening 90 seconds, trailing by 5 points to 0. Foster showing at McMahon, going up the centre, the winger, not held, tries to go again, held by Gibbs. Penrith looking superb in the opening few exchanges. Through Broman, that's Tim Sheens. 10 is Platts. Brown over the top, Vaughton down below. Simmons. Now Platts. Broman, the run round, Platts now. And Platts immediately now drawing more attention. 3 men in the tackle. Broman. He should relish the fact that he's got a ball runner in the side, I should say, in Lou Platts. The bomb from Levy. They're going through the Panthers. The big men fly, and Graham Eadie and Henry Foster battle for possession, but it's no try. Watch the referee. I think you'll find Eadie has grasped it, and a line drop out to restart.
Penrith looking very good in the early minutes of this game, and their Manly defence around the rucks. Terry Randall's the man that I thought cost them the first try. He missed the tackle of Steve Martin, who makes a habit of scoring tries or being involved in them for Penrith.
Kevin Dan now. Ray Brown and Paul Vaughton doing a lot of tackling in the opening few minutes of the game. Foster. That's Pobji. Thompson and Randall making that tackle. Now it's Broman. Here's Platts. Foster. That's Sheens. And Broadhurst in 11 and Gerard in 10. Bring him down 9 metres out from the Manly 22. With Penrith 5, Manly no score. Up goes Broman again. First man off the ruck. Takes it up. Simmons away from dummy half. A good gain of about 8 metres, but it's the end of the tackle count and the scrum to form. Dan is playing at fullback. Levy in the centres as Manly win the scrum. Gibbs. Vaughton. Penrith have had 2 matches at home in the 81 Premiership. They've won them both against Cronulla and Norths. Here's Mark Willoughby. They can't run without legs, and that's where Steve Martin is at the moment. Around the legs, Tim Sheens and Broman over the top. Thompson. Eadie. Neither can he run without legs as Roy Simmons displays again around the legs, head-on tackle. Gibbs. A frustrated exhibition of kicking. Oh, nearly a clash between the Penrith players. Gardner's got the pass away. Tackled his centre partner, Dorahy. Thompson, Gerard makes the opening for Willoughby. Willoughby draws the defence, may have passed a fraction early. Simon Booth comes in field. Now it's Manly, 7 metres out from the Penrith 22. Broadhurst, Gibbs, Thompson, away from Dorahy, it's gone to Eadie. Out now to Gardner. He's got Mooney going on the inside. No, he's not, he's still on his right-hand side. They're up to the 22, Gardner. Tackled by Broman and by Ken Hay, playing in number 4 for the Panthers. To the left, and now Brown. To the 22, takes the defence, stands in it, away to Gibbs. The little man, he's out of the tackle, back to Jeff Gerard. Gibbs has got the ball in the half volley, he scores. Yes, a super try. That's a great Manly try. They've come back from 5-0. This will be 5-all after the conversion. Great performance by Jay Gibbs. He's back in 81 and he's bigger and better than ever, I believe.
It's a bad sign for Penrith. That's the first time Manly have had the ball in the game. They had it for 6 tackles and they certainly did something with it. Ray Brown won his first scrum and then made the initial break for the try to Gibbs. He stood up in the tackle, got it away to little Gibbs, and as Ray said, he's back in 81, stepping out of tackles, amazingly strong for a little man. Gerard carried on the good work, and Gibbs on the half volley picked it up. I thought there could have been a little touch of a shepherd there, but referee Weeks right on the spot for Gibbs's try.
So John Coots looks at the head-on replay now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Gibbsy could have scored this try earlier, because before he gets that pass away, watch it here, he stopped in a tackle, or it looks as if he stopped, and all of a sudden he pulls free. Now, if he'd started again there, he may have scored himself, but he's gone around, backed up beautifully. What a great pickup and a great start.
So John Dorahy taking the kick at goal. And he's successful, Joe Cool, with the conversion attempt. And there is your scoreline on Channel 10's Big Game. Manly 5, Penrith 5. McMahon's kick for touch. Finds it. 15 metres out. Now the Panthers. They led 5-0. They've been equalised. Can they strike again? Fenton wide. Around the back of Levy to 14. That's Dan. Grasped by Gardner. Blindside they continue to work, but they come up the centre to Martin, the lock, and Martin throws a forward pass intentionally. That's a penalty to Manly. But I continue to sing the praises of Stevie Martin As Peter Peters mentioned, he makes a habit of scoring tries, but today he played a major part in the first try, and he's gone within an ace of putting Kevin Dan in for Penrith's second try.
Yes, he's regarded as the rover in the Penrith side, and here he is coming on the burst to take the ball very close to the Manly line, and he really can burst onto the ball, Martin. Senses a try. It's a good sniffer of a try.
New Rugby League word uncovered by our Rugby League Week editor, Peter Peters, who's joined us for the first time in 1981. A Rugby League sniffer. Well, there's a knock-on, and now a scrum will form about 5 metres on the Manly side of the halfway, and there's the big man, Graham Eadie, looking for his Australian jumper back in this new season, the touring year of the Frenchman. Let's see what Gibbs does with the ball this time. He puts it in the centre. It's a Penrith scrum win. That's Henry Foster. Martin. Taken by Thompson. They're 10 metres away from the Manly quarter line. That's Darryl Broman. Now that's Fenton. Here's Broman. Zavanovic up the centre. And that grassing tackle came from Terry Randall. To the right through Foster. Now Levy. Martin's on his outside, but Gibbs makes the tackle, and over the top came Brown. Broman. The bomb from Broman. They're all onside for mine. McMahon is flying from the left wing, but so is Graham Eadie, and the big man takes it and is forced. No one can deny that the Panthers are showing a touch of colour here in the opening minutes of this match today.
Yes, it's a vital match for Penrith, and they're showing a lot of enterprise. That was a good bomb by Broman. Normally I don't like front rowers kicking the ball in general play, but there was nothing wrong with that. There was plenty of pressure on Eadie, and a fullback with less ability might have spilled it, but Eadie took it well, and I'm certain now that he's got a leg injury because Dorahy's also taking the dropouts.
This man is Foster. Zavanovic. Levy. That's Sheens now. Held by Vaughton and by Thompson. Foster. Through Fenton. Around Broman. This man is Kevin Dan. Held by John Dorahy. Graham Eadie is limping badly on what appears to be his right leg, so it could be that thigh muscle that's giving him a bit of pain. I see Steve Martin on the sideline, so it could be that it's Eadie coming off. He's limping badly, and Martin is going for the corner, and because of his injury, I'd say, and no other reason, Eadie has failed to get him. Steve Martin scoring the try, but you'll find, and the replay will show this man, Graham Eadie, hobbled across in defence. Martin was on the sidelines to make the replacement. Couldn't get onto the field quick enough. Martin threw a little dummy to Sheens and then took off.
Both Russell Gartner and Paul Vaughton both swallowed the dummy, and Martin showed a lot of pace to get to the corner. Eadie arrived far too late, and I think so too to the Manly replacement, because Graham Eadie is now limping off the field, and was certainly a great try.
John, have a look at Eadie getting across to try and cover Martin. I think that limp might be showing up here.
Yes, I was watching Eadie earlier. He was favouring the leg and sort of thinking about it, and then when he took off, he left it far too late.
And so there he is leaving the field now. Graham Eadie. Right on the touchline. He'd only be about 16 metres out from the line. It's got height and just wide. So the scoreline 8-5 in favour of Penrith over Manly, with Martin having a big part in the first try and scoring the second. That kick-off dangerously close to the touchline, but McMahon brings it away, and he's going to the ground in one heck of a hurry. Mooney and Willoughby, the tacklers. This is Zavanovic. Sheens, now Fenton. Fenton has got Platts coming up fast. He's run to Foster, and Gibbs has made the tackle. Lou Platts has gone back to dummy half now. He may have been the man who should have got that ball. Broman dummies and turns back to the left and looks for support. Picks up Foster. The little man was left there, though, without support. 7 metres out from the Manly 22. That man is Martin. Now Simmons, the hooker. Randall holding on. Broman wants it. Here he is. A little chip over the top of the three-quarters. Dorahy comes. Oh, Mooney's put it down. There's a chance on McMahon. He throws it willy-nilly and hopes for the best. And a penalty goes to the Manly side. I think he's got him for passing from the ground when held, McMahon.
What a dreadful blunder. Penrith in a tremendous position to score again there with 6 tackles to go, and they virtually threw it away.
The Dorahy finding touch. Now Broadhurst. And a penalty goes to Manly again. Penrith inside the 10. Ground announcer must have got the Graham Eadie replacement by Pony Express. Carrier pigeon, maybe.
It's a vital time for Penrith. If they can hold out here and perhaps score the next try of the game, they're a chance, but they can't let Manly in every time the Eagles get the ball.
Willoughby now held about 3 or 4 metres out from the 22. Shoddy piece of football by Brown, and Sheens plays it for Penrith. Platts. They're 10 metres out from their own quarter line. Levy. That kick is looking good. It's going end on end and fast. Too fast for Dorahy. Finding touch. 5 metres out from the Manly 22. And I do believe the touch judge has given them the benefit of the doubt there too, by about 3 metres.
This is the difference in having an experienced footballer like Levy. He found touch then. He wasn't worried about finding it. He found it without any trouble, and he was there on the spot, urging his teammates forward to get back into the action.
The Panthers leading by 8 points to 5. 2 tries. 1 by Fenton, 1 by Martin. Manly's try scored by John Gibbs. Well, he's going to get it again, yes. The differential penalty against Gibbs. Incorrect feet of the ball. The ball's been thrown. He was entitled to pinch him again there. You might have seen Tom Mooney scurried across, picked the ball up and threw it back to Penrith.
Gibbs is often accused by his hookers in the Manly club of not having a go, but today he's put 2 behind his second row's feet, maybe under the instructions of Ray Brown, but certainly putting a lot of pressure on his side now.
Well, last week in the latter part of the Eastern Suburbs match, Thompson came on to feed the scrums in the second half. This is Foster, taken by Fortin and Randall. In centre field, just inside the Penrith 22 line. Sheens. Platts on his outside. On the inside, 14 is Kevin Dan. Broman's calling for it. That's him, Simmons. On the run round, the hooker has given it to Foster, who was held by Gibbs before he got the ball, and eventually grounded by him. Platts now. Penrith trying to ram home a 3-point advantage at the moment. 9 metres out from the line. Savanovic is in 9 at dummy half, goes himself to the blind side, and I thought for a moment he was going to be able to pop it to Ken Hay, but he couldn't. Last tackle coming up for the Panthers, and going for the line himself is their number 10, Lou Platts. And a scrum will go down 5 metres out. Nasty little incident happened there in that tackle on Lou Platts. They forced him back and he fell straight over the leg of Steve Martin, who came away in a bit of pain as Manly win a scrum, and Gibbs tries to make the break himself away from the tackle, out to Vorton, on to Martin. and they're inside the 22 line.
Martin's got cramps from the reserve grade game.
Through Thompson, Broadhurst. Gibbs gets a kick in, but it's going straight to Kevin Dan, and Penrith back on the attack. 20 metres out, loses it. That's Vorton coming away for Manly. He's lost it. Kevin Dan's got it back for Penrith. Now Sheens, Levy, through Fenton, still with him. Back to Zavanovic. Penrith not frightened to throw it about. Levy. Sheens coming up on the outside. That's him in 11. Pobji. Bowman goes ahead. He's within 5 metres of the line. His dummy half is Roy Simmons. Now Henry Foster. Fenton. Number 8 puts it down. Martin, and taken in midair by Russell Gartner. And a wild ball for Manly on the first tackle instead of settling it down. They're now faced with a scrum 5 metres out from their own line.
That's dreadful play by Manly. They're not only not moving up to meet the attacking player. Broman ran 15 yards then without coming to any defender, and then the last 2 times they've had the ball, they've spilled it on the first tackle.
Gibbs, I see blood down his right cheek. It's come from a nick, I'd say, on the right eyebrow. Now Broadhurst. Sheens took him high and hard. Zavanovic was low. Now Gerard. That's Gibbs. There's the blood flowing down the right side of the face as Willoughby takes it out. A nice big run by this big man to the halfway. Picks up Tom Mooney. Mooney is being wedged into a corner and is eventually put into touch just inside the Penrith quarter line. A good run made by John Gibbs to Mark Willoughby to Tom Mooney, ending there. Manly's ball. Martin fed that scrum, by the way. Gibbs was getting attention at the time to that cut above the eye, and Manly won the scrum. Martin now. Randall. Brown. Penrith leading by 8 points to 5, and we're 12 minutes out from the halftime break. Here's Gerard. And he got a pass down to Broadhurst, away to Mooney. He's gone in field and tackled there by Craig McMahon. Martin, Thompson, flying as Gardner. 10 metres out now, right in centre field. Last tackle for the Eagles. Thompson wants it. Penalty to Penrith against Gardner in the play of the ball. He indicates he's lifted his knees.
And although Manly are winning the scrums, it appears that they haven't...
A kick finding touch about 8 metres out from the Penrith 22. Sheens. Broman first off the ruck, that's him. That man is Fenton. And quick hands by Penrith back to Levy. Now with Kevin Dan. Dan taken by Broadhurst. Broman. A floating pass out to Lou Platts. He's to the halfway. 6 metres on the Manly side of the halfway. Sheens. Penrith fanned right across the field and deep. Broman, Foster, he's got the pass to Fenton. Fenton looks for support. He picks up Martin. No, he doesn't. The ball's gone over his shoulder. Penrith still in possession. Last tackle for them. Mark Levy gets a bomb in. Kevin Dan is fractionally offside. Dorahy spilled it. Ken Hay dives on it, but it's no try. Joe Cool has come up with the ball and a line dropout. Interesting to watch that one. I think Kevin Dan might have been a touch offside. If so, there was a penalty for Manly instead of a line dropout.
Side Manly, Steve Martin's having a lot of trouble getting getting his leg action going. He's played a full game in reserves. He's now gone to the wing to try and get a bit of movement back in his legs. And Doherty's not all that comfortable at fullback.
Manly's penalty. That's an incorrect feed against Henry Foster.
Penalty 6-5 to Manly, and the scrums 4-1 to Ray Brown, which will make him happy because he's under more pressure than any other first grader in Sydney at present.
Now a chance for Manly to level the situation up just prior to half-time. Willoughby, Brown, Gerard, now Broadhurst, and knocked down by Martin for Penrith and picked up by Brown for Manly. Gibbs now scurrying around, throwing it back over the shoulder of Broadhurst through Brown. It's with Thompson now with Gartner. Gartner taken by Henry Foster, and heavy over the top came Tim Sheens. Ahead goes Brown, turns it round to Gerard, who did well to take it. 9 metres out, right in front. Manly on the attack with Broadhurst now. The Kiwi international takes it within 2 metres. Gibbs is the dummy half. A scoop of a pass out to Thompson, who tries to beat them. He does with a step and gets it down. Knocked down by Penrith. 6 more to go. Through Randall back to Gerard. And Gerard is tackled 5 metres away from the Penrith line. Brown, Thompson, back for Willoughby. He's put it down to the waiting hands of Henry Foster. So Penrith bringing it out now. Broman puts it down, but it's still with Penrith, and the tackle count restarts for them now. Levy. So now this is Tim Sheens. Back to Kevin Dan. Taken out of the air by Broadhurst. He looks for Mooney, picks him up. Mooney goes back in field. That's Willoughby now. Broadhurst is a big man, and he mightn't look all that nimble, but he's got a bit more zip than he looks like he might possess. As Gerard throws a one-hander back to Brown. There must be a try on. Broadhurst is in again for his 3rd Australian try.
Well, we certainly can't fault Brown's performance today, Peter. He's been in everything. He's been winning the scrums. That was an excellent pass there. And Broadhurst a just reward because he's been backing up and involving himself in the play all the time.
And this? Half-time siren not too far away as Doherty converts the try scored by Mark Broadhurst, and 10 points to 8 is the scoreline in favour of the Eagles over the Panthers here before a big crowd at Penrith Park. Tomorrow in our radio broadcast on 2GB, Peter Peters and I'll be covering the big one, Parramatta and Cronulla from Endeavour Field, and what a match that'll be. And Willoughby was inside the 10. I think you'll find he was inside the 10 to take that ball. I will admit, only by inches.
But standing on the line at least.
Well, Manly in possession as we come up close to half-time, across the shoulder of Gerard and knocked on by Vorton. So Manly sending another replacement out there now.
Steve Martin is off the field, and
He's not
looks
yet
like it could be Chris Montgomery.
So Martin didn't spend very long with us after replacing Eadie. And the penalty goes to Penrith again against Gibbs for an incorrect feed. He's getting a warning from Martin Weeks. He's pointed to the sheds. He gave Gibbs a fairly heavy tongue lashing there and indicated that he'd be in the confessional if he wasn't careful.
Yes, that's the 4th penalty that Gibbs has given away with his scrum feeding, and Penrith on the attack now, only a few metres from the Manly line with a minute and a half left for play, a vital stage.
Here they go now. Sheens away from Randall, taken by Mark Willoughby. 3 metres out from the line. The Panthers trailing by 2. Broman thumps his big frame towards the line. It's been, well, I thought he might have got a penalty out of it. Martin goes from dummy half. Broadhurst hangs on, so does Willoughby. Dummy half is Royce Simmons. Levy now, the little bomb off the left foot. Foster's onside, but the ball's gone straight up and down. Rake back for Penrith, knocked down by Broman. A chance there for Penrith, but Manly are in possession. Dorahy. Brown. Well, Manly are standing in the best clump you've ever seen. There's only one divorce from the clump, and that's Russell Gardner.
They look like an under-10 side. You could throw a blanket over them.
Mooney given a facial by Warren Fenton. Gerard. A couple of good mates there, Gerard and Platts. Didn't seem to be any love lost in the tackle, though. Broadhurst. And so this scrum will pack just before half-time. Let's have a look at the situation of points in the first half. 2 tries apiece. As Foster tries to make the break on the open side. For Penrith, Fenton and Martin have scored their tries. For Manly, Gibbs and Broadhurst have scored theirs. As the siren sounds to end the first half, it's with Broman. He puts the bomb up. Let's watch it now. It's a high bomb, not a good one. And knocked back off a Manly player. But referee Weeks was almost to blow his whistle as Foster gave it across to Fenton, and a chip across for Dorahy, and he's tackled. So that's the end of a most exciting first half. The Manly tries to complete the statistics. Gibbs and Broadhurst, their tries at the 8th and 36th minute. Penrith tries after 1.5 and 18 minutes. The half-time scrum situation favours Manly 4-2. The penalties are 6-all. And we'll take a break and be back for the second half of Manly and Penrith in Channel 10's big game in just a moment. Gets underway now, and I don't know whether you saw it, but Mark Willoughby again, if he had have touched that ball, was again inside the 10. This is him now in possession for Manly. Through Thompson to Gibbs. Vaughton now. Now it's Gerard. Gibbs. Thompson. And that's Vaughton with it now. Dorahy. That's going out on the full. And so the scrum will go down back midway between the 22 and halfway on the Penrith end of the field.
Thompson working your second half scrums for Manly.
And Penrith win this one. Foster away from the scrum base. He picks up Martin. And eventually Gibbs makes the tackle after Dorahy did the lead-up work. It's out with Mark Levy. Now Lou Platts coming up as Ivanovic, the blonde-headed man in 9. Levy now. The big man Broman. Through to Simmons and across to Foster. Picks up Kevin Dan. A chip across for his winger McMahon. They fly for it now. The bounce goes into touch. Very close to the Manly line. The scrum forming for Alan Thompson to work the scrum. Well, if that's that came out behind the second row, I'll turn it up. However, at least we got a result. And Gibbs now plays it. Vaughton. He was forward, yes, definitely, deliberately forward. Penalty to Penrith right in front of them. This will equalise the situation. Under 23s went 18-9, by the way, to Penrith today, and the reserves to Manly 20 points to 6. Here's the pass from Vaughton that we're talking about. And I don't think there's any dispute in that particular case. Mark Levy successful, so the scoreline Now reads out at Manly 10, Penrith 10, and we're 4 minutes into the second half. Dan.
Thompson switch to half is interesting because obviously Martin Weeks has threatened more than the sin bin with the switch, because Manly were winning the scrums 4-2 when they switched, and there'd be no other reason but the threat from the referee that Gibbs may be off the field.
Savanovic playing him. Now Levy. Martin. Talented footballer, this lad. He has been, in my way of thinking, the best of the Penrith players. Broman down to Dorahy, and it's found touch. Well, Dorahy, he might carry the nickname Joe Cool, but on that occasion he was Joe Cold, very cold.
Yes, and he may have got Daryl Broman out of a touchy situation, because Broman, second or third man off the rucks there, exactly where a prop shouldn't be, and then he put his foot to it, and Dorahy should have saved that from going into touch.
Now Thompson's been caught for an incorrect feed, so another differential penalty to Penrith. How many is that they've got, Tony Peters? That's their fourth. Here's the scrum going down for the feed by Thompson. There's the gap coming between the hooker's feet and the second rowers. The channel formed, and Tomo said, well, I'll put it in there. And Martin Weeks said, thank you. And Penrith also said thanks. It's with Sheens now, driven by Randall. But they're only 2 metres from the line, and the scoreline is 10 points all. Zavanovic. Gerard, one tackler. Broadhurst is the other. Willoughby was there too. Now Martin. The little man is almost across. In fact, I think he was, and he was pushed back. Penrith on the attack was Broman. No! Put it down into the arms of Simmons. He couldn't quite take it. It was a chance, and Gibbs plays it for Manly. The head-on of that would have revealed just how unlucky Penrith are not to be in front by 15 to 10. That was probably a case of 6 inches from the time Broman let it go to the hands of Simmons. Just how close the head-on will reveal. Dorahy kicks to clear. This man is Pobji. Was a former member of the high-flying Jets. This is Craig McMahon.
Penrith certainly having the better of this match. They've been the better side in the first half, and for the opening 10 minutes of the second half, they've been very unlucky not to score. And Manly's defence around the ruck certainly not worthy of a side that many are thinking of being a premiership contender. Penrith finding plenty of holes. This is one of the most important matches in Penrith's history. They've won 2, and they need to beat a tall poppy, and it could be on here.
This is Martin having a blinder. He's gone inside the quarter-way line, but he's low. He's looking for support. Broman was there, but he's with Lou Platts, the only 2 of the Penrith players who don't come under criticism. Through Foster, out to Fenton, onto Zavanovic, back to Fenton. He's looking for number 2, and he scores.
Forward pass. Forward
pass. You're quite right. Well, that's bad luck for Penrith. They had Manly shot to pieces, John.
They certainly have been applying the pressure for the whole of this second half. And again, just a fraction of a millimetre even in that pass. But here it comes, the pass now.
That pass it was, John.
Yes.
Zavanovic to Fenton, but it was only, as you say, a fraction forward, but Weeks was right in line with it. It's a good ruling by Weeks, but I do feel sorry for Penrith, Peter, because they had Manly shot to pieces.
They certainly did, and the young player that went across handled twice in that movement, Warren Fenton. He scored a good try early in the game. After only 2 minutes, he backed up that break by Platts, and I think he's been absolutely outstanding, playing all over his opposite today, Alan Thompson.
Here's Ray Brown taking it towards halfway. I'll be awarding my Dally M points in the news tomorrow night. In fact, they're published in entirety in the Daily Mirror Monday afternoons, but I'll be reading them out on Channel 10 tomorrow night. Put down by Fortin. The tackle wasn't severe from Royce Simmons. Fortin wasn't entitled to put that ball down. Foster. Dan. Levy's coming up on the outside. They're on the halfway line. Now Sheens. Platts, the big man galloping down the right flank, and Randall across in cover. Zavanovic. Hanging on in 15 is Chris Montgomery. Manly have used their 2 replacements, Edie midway through the first half. Martin, his replacement, was on only for about 15 minutes, and then he too was replaced, and Chris Montgomery is the Manly replacement. Last tackle for the Panthers, just outside the 22-way line, the kick from Broman. Dan's going through onside. Dorahy under pressure. No, he's not. He's out of the tackle by Dan and crawled back into the field. Simon Booth. Ten points all. Lock scoreline at Penrith Park before a big home crowd here. Hoping for Penrith to make it 3 home matches in a row as the victors. Willoughby. Now Ray Brown scurries out from the 22, picked up by Thompson, given away to Dorahy, but a knock-on has been ordered.
We have some lost property at the ground now.
The Manly bench.
A wallet has been found and handed in. Would claimants please make their way to the broadcasting box? A lost wallet.
Dorahy. 3 little men, Martin, Foster and Fenton making the tackle on Dorahy. That's Tom Mooney going for a run. Swinging right arm from Tim Sheens, and Mooney knows about it too. Broadhurst taken by Zavanovic. While Penrith keep this defence up, a mauling type defence all over them, it puts Manly off their game, but Randall's found a gap and given it to Gibbs. The little man is away, chased by McMahon. In centre field is Montgomery. He's going for the corner, but not enough pace. And he's 9 metres from the line. Thompson, a quick spin is required. Booth around behind Gerard. No Shepherd, says the referee. Booth plays it back to Gerard. This is the last. It's with Ray Brown. That's Mark Broadhurst. He's put it down so simply. Ever so simply. Oh, God, John Gibbs, I think, Peter, he went too far. He knew he couldn't make it, and he just went too far and ran right away from his supports.
Yes, Chris Montgomery was inside. The Manly trouble is that their forwards are cluttering up the backs. When Broadhurst put that down, he had 2 players outside him, and they were both forwards, Gerard and Mark Willoughby, and that's not a sign of a side that is free-flowing. Their attack's not good.
Penrith now with Foster. This is the last for the Panthers. Fenton. Little chip. He's going to win the race for it. He gets the volley. Fenton. He's looking for Levy, who's coming up. So too is this man Simmons. And Simmons is put down by Gibbs. But Fenton is having a very good game. And the end of 6 tackles now.
Good play by Fenton. Manly would drop back deep in defence there. Their players dropped back for the 6th tackle, and Fenton just a little chip through. No cover from the Manly lock and no cover from the second rowers. There's a man they'd like on the field, Les Boyd.
Fit.
Yes, fit.
Manly scrum win. Dorahy. Dorahy's made the break for Booth. And, you know, the man hanging around his legs, Steve Martin, could well have stopped a try. Randall turns it inside for Broadhurst. And the tackler again around the legs was Martin, and he's hurt himself. Away goes Brown. Ten points all. Gibbs probing for the opening. Still looking for it. He's found it. 10 metres out from the quarter-way line. Zavanovic the tackler that time. A long ball for Brown. Randall's on his outside. Willoughby's on his inside. Dorahy gets the final pass. Dorahy's over the 22 and caught from behind by Levy. Again, you'll find a hell of a lot of Manly forwards out in the 3 quarters. Gerard slides the ball through Thompson to Randall. Randall goes back to centre field. And the end of 6 for the scrum in front of the uprights, 11 metres out. failing to retire against the Manly half. Incidentally, I just realised I was talking of those Dally M Awards tomorrow night, the split round of rugby league. Of course, the Balmain Canterbury points, they'll be announced in Monday night's news. And the Daily Mirror will cover the list of Dally M points in their entirety in Tuesday night's Daily Mirror. This man is Mark Broadhurst. Ray Brown. Alan Thompson. Got the pass to Vaughton. Now to Gartner. Has Mooney on his outside. Martin across in cover. But a penalty has been awarded to Penrith for shepherding. Obstruction ordered.
Both sides guilty of making blatant schoolboy errors. Penrith, of course, when they didn't find touch from the penalty near their line, which allowed Manly back on the attack, and then Manly with Penrith at 6s and 7s shepherding, and that's a situation which I'm sure both coaches will be very critical about. And there's some back chatting in the Manly side, none other than Tommy Mooney, and Tom will now be told to keep quiet or go to the bin.
Well, he's also called out Steve Martin. They were the combatants. Steve Martin having a tremendous game here for Penrith today. And that kick by Craig McMahon is an absolute Bobby Dazzler. He's found touch 3 metres out from the quarter-way line. So as the crow flies, he's found about 60 metres.
He made sure of that one. I think he had something to make up for from the one before that he missed.
A huge kick. I worked with Keith Barnes on Wednesday night when St George gave Balmain a thrashing, and I tell you what, you've got a similar colour.
A white Greek.
Zorba, yes, you've become a white Greek. Because at the moment, I think keen betting men would like to be on the Panthers. Sheens turns it inside for Martin. Martin's got a chance. He's given to Kevin Dan, and Kevin Dan has scored. Kevin Dan is in to score for the Panthers. 13 points to 10.
Beautiful work by Steve Martin. He propped up his foot, set the try up beautifully for Dan, who's been in the horrors this season. Let's watch it here. And Steve Martin, Johnny on the spot again, the sniffer I call him, and he's backing up on the inside. And Mark Levy took the tackle. Watch how he props and sets the try up beautifully. On the wrong foot, took Doherty, and then Dan on the burst for a try. It'll look good from head on.
John Coots.
Yes, well, Martin's certainly the instigator of that one. As Peter and Ray both agree, he's having a superb game. But that's the style of Penrith play today. They're combining with it. They're doing a lot more with the ball than Manly. And another deserved try.
Let's pick up this man. It's Warren Fenton having his thigh strapped very tightly. Unless Stacker does a Gibson and pulls off a man who's having a blinder. This man is a front runner for all the awards here today. There's no doubt. Steve Martin. Levy unsuccessful. Penrith 13, Manly 10 now. This opportunity to everybody in rugby league and all sports lovers who yesterday contributed to our telethon on Channel 10. Thank you very, very much indeed. Magnificent effort from everyone, but to the sports people especially, let me extend my thanks. Just in excess of $1 million raised for 3 magnificent charities. This is Fenton now. You'll have no trouble picking him up now from that right thigh, heavily bandaged. In fact, I think Len Stacker is paying him an enormous tribute by leaving him on there.
I think he's next to Steve Martin, the best player on the field, and Stacker knows just how much he needs him on the field, and I think he's going to stick with him as long as the kid wants to stay there.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Peter, is I think Stacker thinks that a wounded Fenton is better than a replacement at the moment.
Certainly.
Levy now. He'll grab for touch. Not grubbing. It's floating. It's got the touch line. Oh, gee, he's a good kicker, isn't he? Levy and Kevin Hastings are 2 that rush to mind when it comes to finding touch in general play. Probably they're not Bobby Fulton's as yet, but I'll tell you what, they're not too damn far behind him.
Now, Levy's a fine player, and I'm stunned, or I was stunned, when Parramatta allowed him to go, and I think Penrith should get down on their knees and thank the Earls for that.
McMahon from the blind wing gets the pass away for the volley. Pass away up to Hay. It came off Levy's pass, and Hay away from one and taking it back into centre field for Broadhurst to make the tackle with Simon Booth. Manly looking like a shot bird at the moment as Platts takes it up and juggles and is tackled 10 metres out. Dummy half Kevin Dan. The Panthers have their confidence riding high. He's put it down, Dan, a blemish and one of the rare ones on his performance.
Penrith looking a lot more professional than they have in previous years. They've been in this position before and blown it, but on form displayed in this game, they're not only going to hang on, they could increase their lead. But Manly, of course, can pull a try from anywhere on the field. Penalty.
This is incorrect feed again. No, it's feed across. I thought he was about to say to Thompson, you'll get a similar warning to Gibbs in a moment. Now the differential penalty to the Panthers. My God, Peter, Manly have got troubles with their scrummaging, haven't they? Last week it was on just the same as Sheens gets the pass back from McMahon. McMahon has scored. The big wing three-quarter has scored for the Panthers, their 4th try of the day. Oh, Manly are falling apart.
In many seasons with Timmy Sheens, their veteran. He's played more games than any other player in Penrith, and he's waited for a day like this, and he strode through the ruck like a colossus there, and the Manly defence just hung off him, and here he goes. Sheens just charging ahead. Terry Randall looking at him. Mark Willoughby getting hold of him and should have put him down, but he stood up in the tackle and gave it to McMahon. Thanks very much. One of the easiest three-pointers that Penrith will score, and the Manly defence plasticine in the forwards.
So, John Coots, this is the head-on, and this is how it happens. Some people call it a soft try.
Yes, well, Penrith's ball work has been exceptional. That pass there was magnificent pass. It's just under pressure. They're doing everything right.
They certainly didn't meet very much resistance from a couple of Manly players. Levy now. He's spot on. The Panthers are carving the Eagles up at the moment. Rushing away now to a lead of 18 points to 10 in Channel 10's big game.
Michael Blake coming on the field for Manly, and he's replacing Russell Gartner, which is a sign to me that Gartner's been sacked for his centre positional play today. He doesn't seem to be carrying an injury and doesn't look too happy, although he's got a bit of blood on his jumper.
And a knock on by the Penrith side, and Montgomery goes away, but rounded up by Lou Platts. That's Mark Willoughby. Now Gerard. Thompson. Broadhurst. Ray Brown. Picked up by Alan Thompson. Last tackle for the Eagles. The bomb put down by Dan. He didn't really know where it was. And the scrum is to go down.
Johnny Gibbs screaming at the Manly players when there was a break in play, and he's one player, probably the only player that have got in their side that can produce that little bit of brilliance now to get them out of this trouble.
Close to the Penrith line, the scrum unsuccessful. That's for a similar instance that we saw earlier. I call it a double marker. Or not standing immediately in front of the man with which you're contesting the play the ball. You can play it in any direction, you can contest it in any direction, but you can't face any other way than goal to goal. This is McMahon. Sheens. Levy. Platts. Have a listen to that crowd. That's the sound of a home crowd at the Panther country when they're starting to smell the scent of another win. They've played here 3 times this year. They've won 2 and looking for 3. But the smell of this success will be bigger and more tastier than ever. That ball, unfortunately for Penrith, bounced on the inside for Gibbs to bring it back now.
Roman, the tackler, who kicked the ball and was up there for the tackle. Great play by the big man.
Now it's Dorahy. Dorahy's in a bit of pain. You could see his face was wrinkled with pain as he went down. It's an ankle. Now it's Thompson. Gerard, taken by Broman. Alan Thompson, met by Sheens in 11. Royce Simmons was going in with one that he had ready and was going to bring from the ground. Randall, that's Broadhurst, and Michael Blake couldn't take it. It was a chance which Manly really have to take now. Sheens, a short ball for Kevin Dan. Thompson around the legs.
Fenton's off for Penrith and David Cartwright is the replacement. Fenton
Floating pass from Foster to McMahon. McMahon has Mooney chasing him. He stood him up once. He's looking for some. Oh, he could have easily sent one of those 2 men in, Pobji and Dan. They were left and right, but he went far too far. Broman. Ken Hay. 4 metres inside the quarter-way line. Levy. Broman. Dorahy's off for Manly now. Now it's Sheens. That's David Cartwright in 18 for Penrith. Simmons. Good boy, good football. That's Cartwright.
Michael Eden's on for Dorahy at fullback.
Eden on. As Martin goes for the line, he's got it down. I think it's a try. The head-on will be interesting. The head-on will be very interesting. Thompson says, sir, it was a double movement.
Yes, this might tell the story. Was it or was it not a double movement? Here's the first tackle. The ball has not touched the ground, so a player's entitled to continue to move forward. That's exactly what he does, and that is a very determined try to Penrith.
And that, I should think, has ensured that this man, Steve Martin, will win the Man of the Match award. And in a Dally M points, I've never given anything higher than an 8. But at the moment, I'm thinking very seriously of a 10. This man has fed him done a Bo Derek today. He's done a Bo Derek. Mark Levy has kicked the goal, and Penrith are giving Manly one heck of a bashing. One heck of a hiding. 23-10 in the big game. Wacko. The Manly supporters have packed their eskies and they're heading back for the harbour. Heading back to the peninsula. The mountain men have given them a mauling, and Lou Platts is loving every moment of it. I suppose Platts is loving it from many, many points of view. This is Ivanovic. 23 points to 10 in favour of the home side, and they're off again with Ken Hay now, grasped by Michael Blake. I think there'll be a guillotine falling over at Brookvale during the week, Peter. Here's David Cartwright. Oh, it's on again here. Oh, my goodness. That's Henry Foster, but he's lost it, and John Gibbs goes away with it. Ken Hay for Penrith. Still not held. Now he is.
Yes, Ray, I think there'll be more than one head fall, but also injuries to Dorahy and Edie may prevent the actual axing being as effective as it should be.
Foster, Penrith are just absolutely having a picnic out there at the moment.
Listen to the crowd. They really love it. That's a beautiful kick by Mark Levy. He's turned Manly around again and sent them back for a scrum 5 metres out from their own line. Look at this crowd. You reckon they don't like this?
It's a good Penrith side. They can no longer be regarded as a joke in this competition. They've been something of a chocolate soldier side in recent years, but the introduction of good players like Levy and Lou Platts has given them the impetus they want.
Foster, badly lacking a man in support. If I had a criticism of Penrith, there have been many breaks made where, oh, there's a touch of the bounce of the ball going your way, as Platts was within a couple of metres. But I emphasise that a couple of times breaks have been made, half breaks, and there hasn't been a man in support. David Cartwright. David Cartwright's in. That's a try. That's another Penrith try. Oh, this is awful, Peter, from a Manly point of view.
Yes, Ray, and Cartwright did his job there. He came onto the ball very strongly. The Manly defence is just non-existent. Sure, they've got players injured, but there doesn't seem to be any pride at all in their play out there. And at the moment, the skipper's walking around Terry Randall. He's trying to get them going, but this Penrith side has tasted victory for a long time today, and they're making every post a winner. There he goes, straight over the try line. Gibbs hanging on. None of the big forwards anywhere around him.
Yeah, this is amazing. Even though we have 7.5 minutes to go, it looks as if Manly's given up their ghost here. They're just waiting for that final bell. It's just a token defence, and Penrith intoxicated by this sweet scent of victory.
Some people would have looked at that try and said, well, what about that? And the point is that the momentum took that man across, David Cartwright, and he did not improve the position of the ball with the arms carrying the ball. He simply was clutching onto it, and the momentum took him across. So no question there, as the countdown reaches 6.5 minutes remaining, as Mark Levy converts, and the big game scoreline is an embarrassing one for Manly. They're down by 28 to 10, and that man surely must come back shortly.
Yes, Max Krilic, I think that he would be quite ill sitting there on the sideline. Great competitor, Max, and he's got to be in this side.
Oh, look at this. Have a look at this.
Oh, dear. Ray Ritchie must be almost physically ill. What about Ken Arthurson?
Yes, well, sure, the trip will be a long way. That 50-odd or 60-odd kilometres back to the sea is going to seem like 5,000 kilometres tonight.
Of course, the man that's going to have the last laugh will be Charlie Gibson.
Yes, and their coach, Wendy Stacker, has come under a lot of criticism, a lot of it unfounded.
The kick by McMahon is a towering kick, finding touch about 5 metres inside the Manly 22 line. It's going to be a merciful sound, really, when Manly hear that hooter. I just can't quite believe the Eagles have almost packed their ports up so early. Levy puts it down.
Yes, I think that there'll be a few red faces down at Cumberland, but it's good to see both fine clubmen and good players get a chance in Sydney.
This is Mooney. Tackled by Steve Martin. I don't think I've seen a more outstanding individual effort than this one from Steve Martin today. Randall saving for Manly. Broadhurst, and play 10 metres out from the Manly line. Let's start reading out the obituaries for Manly here in a thorough thrashing. 28-10 is the current scoreline, with Randall going away from the 22 and chased by Levy. For the Panthers, Steve Martin 2 tries, Warren Fenton, Kevin Dan, Craig McMahon, David Cartwright tries. Levy 5 goals from 7 attempts. Brown taking it into the Penrith half for Montgomery and 15 to go back in field. Now Broadhurst up the centre. For Manly, their points came from tries by Gibbs and Broadhurst. Dorahy 2 goals. From 2 attempts. Scrums Manly 10, Penrith 9 at this point. Penalties, Penrith 13, Manly 8. You can make the scrums level at 10 all now. Errors, Penrith
have made 11, Manly 12. Crowd 10,739. With a reminder that Wednesday night we've got Manly back in the Tooth Cup against Central Districts New Zealand, a team that won the championship over there last year, a team basically from around the Wellington area. So Manly comes back on Wednesday night for a Tooth Cup, and they will come back, I would think, with a side that would be chopped around by injury, and I would think by the selectors axing some of the more illustrious names in the side.
Yes, Ray, I think the fact that 7 have they got to be in the side might save a few.
Well, that's true, Peter. Foster. Tackled, the last tackle, and you reckon this Penrith crowd haven't enjoyed this? And that roar that went up indicates that Penrith, for the first time since 1977, have taken the Manly heavyweights at Penrith Park by 28-10. You've got the details. John Coots will give you the man of the match from the dressing rooms in just a moment. And my Dally M points coming up in tomorrow night.
Would be forgiven for thinking they hadn't won the grand final. That's the atmosphere in here at the moment. They're elated, and why shouldn't they be? They've put up a superb performance against the top Manly side. One of the men most instrumental in that victory today was everywhere on the field. You saw him, the number 8 jersey of Steve Martin. Steve, you won our Man of the Match award. Congratulations on a super performance.
Thanks very much, John.
You must be delighted with the way the team went today.
Very delighted, yes. Very determined effort.
There were some good team efforts, some good team tries.
Yeah, I've been working at that, swinging the ball around. So.
Now, you were expert in every phase of the game today. Your tackling was good, you slotted in. Is there any particular play you enjoy running off, or?
Not really. I still like, just a break in play, so I think if I can jump in there, and, I like, Darryl's there and Royce and Timmy, they're all able and capable to make a break, and so I just sort of rode behind them and wait for the break.
The side looked very fit today, Steve. Len Stagger's obviously been training you hard.
Very determined efforts of training. We've been training very well. The 2 afternoons and Saturday morning, and the efforts have really been put in. Very fit, much fitter than the last 3 years I've been here.
Well, I think on that performance today, there are going to be a lot of surprise sides in the Sydney competition when they come up against Penrith.
Yeah, well, it won't so much be a surprise to us. I think we're out to prove a point this year, and I think we started off right.
You've certainly begun on the right foot, Steve. Congratulations once again. You've won one of our magnificent products from the electronic sales and rentals range, and to tell us a little bit more about it, here's Joe Hasham.
Our big game Wednesday night in the Tooth Cup. Join us, won't you, for Central Districts New Zealand against Manly, and next Saturday a super big game for you, which as yet hasn't been announced. I'm Ray Warren on behalf of John Coots from Penrith Park. Good night.